Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Third, and yes, it is back again. Yes, it's that time of the week, hopefully your favourite day of the week, Mixing Wednesdays. Now, today I have something very new to show you guys, okay? It's basically an idea that I've been coming up with for quite a long time, okay? So, in terms of the way that we do plug-in shootouts, I'm going to kind of change it slightly, right? So instead of it kind of being like a static mix that's never really been mixed, right? I've decided to create a brand new mix. Now, I've not created it, it's a free multi-track, but I've taken a free multi-track, and what I have done is I've decided to mix a record entirely from scratch. This is probably going to take probably 6 to 8 months, because I'm only going to touch it every single week, and I'm going to do one element, one piece at a time, and I'm going to let the plug-in shootouts dictate which plugins that we'll use throughout the entire mix. And I'm going to use you guys for which plugins that we're going to choose. So at the end of all of this, what we are hopefully going to have is a fully finished mix, and you guys have been throughout the entire journey with me, and you've helped me pick the plugins. What I have done is I have taken all the stems and I've put them all together, and then I've done a rough balance. And then from there, what I've done is I've taken FABFILTER PRO-Q. I've actually got a shootout of subtractive EQs, and the FABFILTER, in terms of a digital linear EQ, did sound better than the Waves F6. So I suggest you check that out as well. So what am I listening for? I'm listening for muddiness, I'm listening for harshness, I'm listening for resonances, and you'll hear it, you'll kind of just be going through, and all of a sudden, whoa, what is that? What is that? Take it out, take it out, take it out. Sometimes, again, if it's a good recording, you might find you might only need 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts, no cuts. It just depends on the frequency source. A lot of people may be saying, Paul, why are you listening to it in solo? Now, again, it's up for interpretation, okay? The reason that I cut all of the frequencies out in solo is, one, because I know I could hear them. Now, in terms of, like, if I was to do it in the mix, the problem you've got is there's no compression on there, there's no additive EQ. Now, for people that are new to this, a good reason why you may decide to do all your cuts in solo is, one, so you could hear them better, okay? Because the problem is, in the context of a mix, nothing is compressed. So see all those resonances that you can't hear just now. If you are quite heavy-handed with compression, and you're maybe doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 dB of compression, that noise floor is going to come up. All those harsh frequencies and resonances that you might not hear just now when listening to them in the context of a mix may come up and may become audible. So if you're listening solo, again, just narrow bands, right? 6 dB. Don't go daft and go like 10, 15 dB. 6 dB is enough for me. 6 to 7 dB is enough. For me, I'm wanting to take that muddiness out. I'm wanting the highs to kind of stand out a little bit more. I'm wanting everything to have a little bit more depth, a little bit, just feel a little bit more open and not clouded by all of these frequencies that are building up together. You got to remember, all these frequencies just now, when you get a standard mix, that's what they do. They just all gel together and they add up on top of each other, and it's quite murky. To me, you're taking all that murkiness out. That's all it is, subtractive EQ. So in terms of what that sounds like, what I've done is I've taken the original stems, a quick balance, right, a very quick balance, and then from there, what I've done is I've taken all of the FABFILTER PRO-Q cuts and subtractive EQ that I have done. I've level matched the two of them. This is just the way that I've done my subtractive EQ, all right? No right or wrong answers. So this is what it sounds like with and without, and I'll let you hear it side by side right now. Okay. Right, okay, so there you go. Hopefully you can hear what the subtractive EQ has done. To me, I've just made it sound a little bit more clearer, low ends tighter. Everything's got a little bit more of a pocket. I call them pockets. I can hear everything a little bit better. The high ends a little bit clearer, a little bit crisper, and it's just made room for everything. Everything's a little bit cleaner, and everything, you can kind of hear everything a little bit more. So when you actually get to the mixing stage, you don't need to worry about all that stuff. And when you are compressing and you're EQing and you're being more creative, you're not bringing all of these frequencies up. Remember, if you start EQing and you've got all these harsh frequencies that you can't hear just now, you then start doing kind of big sculpts and kind of big moves, those frequencies and those sounds are going to become more audible and you're going to hear them. And you're going to have more muddiness, more harshness, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So how about we move on to the noise reduction side of it? Now, for this one, I actually felt that I only needed to do it on the bass, the guitars, and the vocal. In terms of the bass and the guitars, what I really like to use is the izotope declick. In a bass guitar, what you'll hear is that kind of all those squeaks and all those kind of horrible artifacts that you get, you know, when you're playing, just the noise of playing guitars, especially on the acoustic guitars as well, the squeaks and stuff like that, and the wee creaks that you hear, the click can be really good for that, and it can just kind of take all of that out. I've got the voice denoise, just because it's a denoiser. The acoustic guitar was quite noisy. I like to take away as much noise as possible, I just don't like stuff kind of getting in the way, especially if you start compressing. Again, that noise floor and that kind of noise in the background is going to come more in the mix. I don't want to hear it. The voice denoise on the acoustic guitar actually does a really good job, and it kind of takes a lot of that out. That's all I did there. And in terms of the voice as well, I chucked that in as well. The very last thing that I think that you need to do when you get to this point is gain staging, all right? Gain staging is very important for me, in my opinion, okay? The reason I think it's very important is because I use, say, a lot of acoustical audio, okay? So in a lot of acoustical audio, and again, you might be using hardware. You might be cleaning everything up digitally and then going into the analog realm. Now, what's very important with analog gear is that it normally likes, say, -18. In most of the manuals, and again, especially acoustical audio plugins, you will find that -18 is what the units were sampled at, and that's really how you get the optimal tone out of these units, okay? So because I'm using so many analog emulations, and again, you never know, I might maybe pick some Access analog to go into further down the road. So what I do is I use MV meter 2, and what I do is I look at the waveform and I pick the loudest part of the track. Now see the gain staging, you could do this at any point. I just kind of do it. I should have told you this, but I actually did it before the Acustica Blonde, okay? So just so it makes sense, I actually did it before the Acustica Blonde. So I gain staged after the EQ and the noise reduction going in. So I made sure all the tracks were -18 going into the Acustica Blonde. And then what I do is I pick the loudest part of the track via the waveforms, and I'll just play that short little snip, and then I'll just see the VU meter. I'll click on the trigger, and then it'll tell me what I need to bring the output down. I go in the plugin, and I bring the output down just so I'm maintaining that gain staging of -18. So if I then go into other analog gear, then again, I'm maintaining that input that's optimal for that hardware. Okay, so gain staging is really important. There's loads of ways you can do it. I like MV meter 2. It's free. I'll leave a link down below, and it's got a trigger tool. All you need to do is pick the loudest part of the track, press the trigger, and it'll automatically gain compensate. So really, I could have stopped there. That's all I've done is subtractive EQ, and I've got a bit of noise reduction as well. I'm cleaning everything up. Now, what I'm going to show you very last is I did do a video talking all about the Acustica Blonde premixer, and I was like, it's a game changer, it's a game changer. I still use it for premixing. I love it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show you every single setting that I did because video can keep on going on, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the sound that the Acustica Blonde premixer. Now, I'll stick a link to the video somewhere here, and it'll be in the description as well. I suggest you guys check that out. You can kind of look into it in a little bit more detail in terms of what it does. In a lot of instances, I only use the pre. See the what's it called? The Benson preamp number 6. I don't know why. I just really like it. See, on the pianos, it just brings in this width, and it's very good for mid information, I find. On the piano, the vocals, and the guitar solo, I really liked it. So again, this is kind of a culmination of some of the 2-band EQs are used, all the pre's, some of them are just pre's on their own. I'll just let you hear it, right? This is the Acustica Blonde in and out, okay? Hopefully you can hear the difference, but this is how I've used the Acustica Blonde on all of these tracks.
Won't you bless the night? Hey, baby, not even so God to hide. Hey, baby, I've been looking there for your love. Don't you stay away. Won't you bless the night? Hey, baby, not even
Right, so there you go. What I feel that I was able to get from the Acustica Blonde is, I'd maybe say it again, I'm going to say it, I fucking might get killed here. It's a little bit more analog, okay? What I mean by analog is a little bit more depth and a little bit more openness. A little bit more width as well. Seeing the pianos, I love it. Honestly, just that, honestly, one Benson pre. That's all it is, one Benson pre in the pianos, and it just brings out the piano in the mids, and it's just a little bit more, has a little bit more width. So that there, guys, is how I would set up a record. Okay, that's how I set up records for my own mixing. That's how I'm going to set up this session. So, guys, what I want you to do is leave comments down below of what you do in your pre-mixing, okay, what you use for subtractive EQ. There might be other stuff that I don't do that you maybe feel I was missing. You're like, Paul, you really should have done this or done that. This is what I do. This is how I pre-mix. I'm actually an editor. And actually, you know what? See, for this video, just give a like for editors, because they never get enough celebration, okay? Because they're doing like all the boring stuff and not getting the credit for it. Okay, all these big mixing engineers, they have the tools to know how to use it, but these guys are still slugging away. It's all the boring stuff. Imagine how annoying it must be. You spend ages cleaning all of this up, getting them all nice, ready for mixing, and you didn't get to mix it. What shit is that? But yeah, editors, right? That's a good way of getting your start in the industry. Obviously, when you're an editor, you're getting... So again, think about Serban Ganea's engineer. He's been with Serban Ganea for years and years and years. If he wanted to go on his own, he knows all the tricks of the trade to go out on his own. So it's a great way to get yourself started as an editor, okay? And you can learn from these great guys, and then actually, instead of like going through all these YouTubers and stuff, you can actually learn from the pros themselves. So guys, if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you again in the next video.